Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. If you're a pal parent of one of these adorable little sticky dudes, or you're thinking of becoming one, then you're in the right place. Today we're diving into 5 tips to keep your crested gecko not just alive, but happy and thriving, because a happy gecko means a happy you, right? So, first of all, a varied diet. So, if you're picturing your crested gecko munching on some tiny pizzas, I'm afraid you are mistaken. Their primary diet should be a high quality crested gecko diet like Pangea, which is what I use, but this is what I like to do. I like to switch up the flavours every so often, because imagine if you ate pizza every single night for the rest of your life. It would get boring. So I like to switch up the flavours. They absolutely go nuts for banana and papaya, but then I'll still change it to an insect blend as well, or watermelon every so often, so they get that change in flavours. I'm not sure if they notice it, but that's what I like to do. Now, it's not just about powdered diet as well though. These guys are little hunters at heart. So occasionally, normally about twice a week, I offer them live food like crickets, but I make sure they are gut loaded, which basically just means they've been fed fruit and veg, so they've got extra nutrition in them, and I ensure that I dust them with calcium and D-free supplements. Now, moving on to tip number 2 is the enclosure. So your enclosure needs to be a certain size. So you want to give them enough room to move out and explore. So I personally add up my adult crested geckos, like Lilo here, in a 60 by 45 by 60 centimeter tank. Now that's pretty generous and gives her a lot of room, but as a minimum you need to be housing them in a 45 by 45 by 60 centimeter enclosure. But remember, these are an arboreal species, which meaning height is much more important than width. They like to climb up high. Now, there's a slight change to these rules if you've got a baby or juvenile gecko. Now, the size for this is normally a little bit smaller initially, because sometimes they can be a little clumsy, like Nico here. She's currently housed in a smaller size enclosure compared to Lilo, purely because I like to monitor her a little bit more, so I can know if she's eating her food, I know what she's doing, but over time she will get upgrades into better enclosures. Tip number 3, temperature. Now this is super duper important, especially if you live somewhere like me in England, where the temperature can get very, very low. So what we're aiming for is the ambient temperature to be anywhere between 22 to 26 degrees Celsius. Now, you don't need to be on the dot with that. There's a little bit of leeway. This is guidance, remember. This doesn't mean if it's at 20, oh no, your gecko's going to die. I'm not saying that at all. It just means that that's roughly where I like to keep mine personally. Now, while crested geckos don't usually bask, I still provide a basking light at 27 to 28 degrees Celsius, that is, at the top of their enclosure, as I feel this gives them a proper temperature gradient and ensures that they can always find that sweet spot no matter the season. So it doesn't matter if it's winter, it doesn't matter if it's summer, they can find a temperature that suits them. To achieve this, you absolutely must need the correct equipment, which includes a thermostat and a thermometer. Not only is this good for your gecko, it's actually health and safety for you, because say if your if your thing fails and your basking light's going nuts, it will shut it off and things like that. So it's so important that you have these, but obviously so you don't burn your gecko. So very important that you keep these and monitor these daily. Tip number 4, humidity. You've got to make sure it's the right humidity. So because these are tropical creatures, due to them living in New Caledonia in the rainforests, they like a good damp environment. So my routine that I follow is I mist my enclosure once a day, every evening. This gives them a nice drink and boost in humidity. The trick is though to let it dry out completely during the day, so you don't constantly have a soggy environment, as this can lead to things like mold and skin issues, especially if you don't have a bioactive tank. It can lead to a lot of mold and things growing that you don't want. And then letting it dry out just prevents this as well. Now, what I will say, if you do have a bioactive tank, you must remember to also water your plants. I made this mistake when I first went bioactive. I forgot to water my plants, because I thought, oh, the misting would do that job. However, because I have quite good ventilation in mine, it just dried out and the plants went really thirsty and they really, really struggled. But I learnt that you need to make sure you water your plants as well. Now, fifth and final tip is enrichment. Now, enrichment, how can a gecko have fun? How can we enrich our geckos in tanks? Well, here's a few things that I like to do. So, your gecko's personality will truly shine by providing enrichment. So, because these guys are natural climbers and hiders, they live in the canopy in the wild, don't they? High up in the trees, so you need to provide dense climbing opportunities and hide at various heights, which is what I do. Now, things like vines, cork bark tubes, and plenty of artificial or live plants. Personally, I like live plants because they look nicer too. I think it's more beneficial, but we'll get into that debate another time. But the more places they have to climb, explore and hide, the happier and more secure they'll feel. It's like giving them their own little jungle gym basically. And if they feel more secure and more safe, they'll be more likely to explore. For example, Lilo's out right now, exploring her tank, exploring her environment. It means you get to see them more as well, which is the whole reason why you've got the pet in the first place. Second way I like to make sure that they get good enrichment is that food, that live food we talked about earlier. That's enrichment too because they're hunting. So insects provides mental and physical stimulation, letting them tap into their natural instincts and natural hunting behaviour like they would in the wild. And also it's great to watch. It can be a little bit scary sometimes. So there you have it, 5 tips to help you keep your crested gecko happy, healthy and thriving in their tanks. It's all about mimicking their natural environment and understanding their unique needs. Do you have any other amazing gecko care tips? Let me know in the comments below. And if you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing for more reptile videos in the future. We'll see you in the next one. Cheers.